Avengers Endgame. This is the biggest movie event I've seen since Star Wars. I mean, they've brought back Star Wars with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, which everybody pretty much thinks sucked. But Avengers has been the biggest movie I've seen in a long, long time since the prequels, however it got took over by internet reaction to it, but the effect it had on people, the amount of event it is, people going to the movies dressed up as the characters. You don't see that for any other movie besides Star Wars in its heyday, and maybe Avengers. It's the biggest movie event. I mean, from my perspective, some asshole kid spoiled Tony Stark's death in the movie theater. We were in line waiting to be let in, and being that they were letting in every movie back to back for that showing for the first night. It was not even the first night. It was Thursday night, the second night. You couldn't help but bump into each other, and the little bastard yells out, "Tony Stark dies, Iron Man dies." So yeah, it pisses me off, whatever, but not to bury the lead, but Avengers Endgame is being re-screened in 40x. You must see this in 40x. This is the best movie you're gonna see in the next 15 years. See it in 40x. Anyway, while you're not doing that, watch the Blu-ray. Okay. And I got the digital. That's so much. I couldn't wait for the movie to come out. I got the digital download from the Sony PlayStation Store 2 weeks ago, and still, I have no hesitation in watching it. And it makes you watch the first one, Infinity War, more context. You know how it's going to end. And you know what's going to happen to Tony Stark. His fight with Thanos means that much more. And people have been trying to spoil Tony Stark's death for the longest time. Every podcast on YouTube, they outly say, "Well, Tony, Robert Downey Jr.'s contract's up. He's gonna die. Chris Evans' contract's up. He's gonna die." And they say it all the time. They say it like it's a given. But I always, and they have no, regard for people who just want to watch the damn movie. They want to take people out of it just to get clicks. But so that's why when he looked like Tony Stark was gonna die in Infinity War, it was like, shit, well, this is it. Then they kept saying it was gonna happen, and really thought he was gonna die. And at least they addressed it, that he had an infection from the stab wound, and he still had to get healed. And he was still in terrible shape in the beginning end game. So they did try to add credence to it. He didn't just ridiculously survive by having nanosheets zip up his stab wound. It was a gaping stab wound. He stabbed with a sword, not a knife. It was a sword. But and somehow he survived the internal injuries. But he was out of commission for pretty much the first act of the movie of Endgame because of that stab wound. So kind of makes sense as much as the movie can. So, but that made me watch the fight with Thanos, Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor at the end. I was watching that at the edge of my seat because this asshole kid yells out that Tony Stark dies. All right, is this gonna happen? This is gonna happen. It's gonna happen now. It made me watch Endgame in a different context. I'm thinking, oh, when is it gonna happen? He's gonna die. You still don't know how or when. So when they were having that fight with Thanos at the end, the third act, I was like, oh my god, he's about to get cut in half. What's the name? When Stark's gonna get cut in half. Iron Man's about to get his head cut off any second because they're fighting. Thanos swinging this huge sword. So like, oh, this is worse than that little Bayard he took from Tony Stark and stabbed him with. He's totally gonna get chopped in half now, and you're just waiting for it to happen. So, thankfully, they surprised me with the way it actually did end, and it proved that his mind was his greatest weapon because he outsmarted Thanos completely. He's thinking 2 steps ahead, and they call it Endgame, like chess. And Iron Man was obviously thinking 2 steps ahead. He figured he won't be able to physically take that gauntlet off of Thanos like they weren't able to in the Infinity War. So he made the gauntlet. So if he ever gets his gauntlet, God forbid, he can just nanomachine the gems out of the gauntlet rather than try to take the whole gauntlet. That was an excellent way they did it. The way they did it was so excellent. It still caught me by surprise. So I wasn't 100% gypped. And I don't know. It made me watch all Endgame, with more stakes. Thinking, all right, somebody's gonna die. Iron Man's gonna die, and this is gonna be pretty screwed up. So it made me watch the whole thing differently. So, like, for example, in the first act, when Iron Man was having a big fight with Captain America and yelling at all of them because he blamed all this was their fault because they split off. So they were half strength, and Thanos came and he pulled out his IV and started yelling, freaking out. And then when he collapsed, I thought he died. I thought, oh wait, is that it? Because he just collided. He did get stabbed. It's a huge infection. You don't know any kind of complication he had. He could have internal bleeding or anything, and it could just be complications. He could just die. It's like, whoa, is he gonna die now? Is he just drop? Because he dropped flat on his face, and then he's in a bed in a hospital bed. Like, whoa, shit, is Tony Stark gonna die here? Is that how he dies? Because honestly, when I watched Infinity War and he got stabbed with that Bayard, you pretty much figured he's dead. Like this is it. And he didn't just get stabbed. Thanos kind of dug the Bayard into his gut, and he had this look on his face like, oh my god, I'm it. Like his face was in shock. So you pretty much figured, yeah, Tony Stark is a goner. So yeah, I mean, you were braced for it already from the first movie. So it was very believable that he could have just actually died from complications in the beginning of Endgame. So I believed it for a second. Like, is this it? This is how he dies? And it's like, whoa. So it made you watch it with more intensity. That's when the movie was great. There's so many things you could go over in that movie. I mean, the one thing I saw, I had to watch the movie like maybe 5 times to finally get, is when Cap was fighting Thanos, and he throws a shield at him, and then he kind of deflects it. Thanos kind of deflects the shield, and then Captain America throws the iron hammer, throws his hammer at the shield, and it looks like you want to see what happened. Like, well, did he deflect the shield back at Thanos to hit him, or did the hammer ricochet off the shield and hit Thanos? And I could never tell what happened in that point. They're like, oh, I realized, that's what happened. Because the action was so fast and intense, you can't see everything that happened. So you're like, well, did the hammer just deflect off of the shield and hit him? But it's not. That's not it. It's a callback to back in the first Avengers movie when Captain America tells Thor, hey, put the shield down. Now put that hammer down. And put that hammer down. And he's like, you want me to put that hammer down? All right. And he jumps at Cap and almost smashes the hammer on him. And Cap deflects the hammer of his shield. The vibranium made a shockwave of deflecting Thor's hammer's energy. They made a huge shockwave that knocked down half the trees in the forest. So that's what it was. It's just like, okay, I guess maybe because of lighting or whatever, they didn't illustrate it well enough. There's a little shockwave, but you can barely see it. There actually is a shimmer of a wave when the hammer hits the shield, and that's what hits Thanos. So, okay, it's a sonic shockwave from the vibranium in the shield and the hammer's energy. That was a cool callback. That was a cool little touch. It's a well thought out fight. I like scripted fights. That's why I can't stop watching that movie over and over again. The fights were very good, and Thanos had a lot of comebacks too. He slammed Cap on the ground and punched him in the face and just UFC'd him off his back. So it was just a great movie overall. I mean, Captain America took a lot of punishment because you think that one punch from that guy would kill Captain America, but he's just super strong. He's just ridiculously strong. I mean, the point where you had to realize that this movie Captain America is way stronger than the comic book Captain America. Captain America was strong, yeah, but he's not as strong as he is in the movies. I mean, the reason why I had to fucking accept it is because Age of Ultron, Captain America is practically fist fighting Ultron. Like, that can never happen in the comic books. Captain America is stronger than most humans. He can even knock out Spider-Man. He's knocked out Spider-Man on occasion. All right? And Spider-Man's super strong. So he's almost as strong as Spider-Man in some ways, or he's as strong as a human being can possibly be. But he's not Ultron strong. In the comics, he's nowhere near Ultron. Ultron would crush Captain America in the comic book. Even in Civil War, the first time Captain America and Iron Man fought, Iron Man beat the hell out of him because the armor is just super strong in the comics. Like, it's a whole different strength class higher than Captain America, and Captain America had no choice and no chance physically against Iron Man in a fight. Now, in the movie, Captain America's damn near as strong as Iron Man's armor. It's ridiculous. So he was able to fist fight Iron Man and beat the hell out of him, even with his armor active. I mean, in the comic book, when Captain America beat Iron Man in Civil War, Vision had to short circuit all of his armor for him to do it. Vision short circuited Iron Man's armor first, then Captain America beat the living hell out of Iron Man with the shield. But in the movie, he's just ridiculously strong. Captain America is like slightly weaker than the Hulk, or slightly weaker than Thor. That's how strong he is in the movie. That movie, he's like, maybe half the strength of Thor or something like that, or something around that level. I mean, he's ridiculously strong. So anyway, it was a great movie, and even then, he's not as strong as Thanos. But thankfully, he got the hammer to finally be able to, give Thanos the business and fight him toe to toe. So that was a great part because everybody wanted that, But in your mind, well, come on, that's not possible. Thanos beat the shit out of the Hulk, I'm a full and firm believer that Thanos is stronger than the Hulk. He's an Eternal. Basically, Thanos is ridiculously strong. A lot of people think, well, that Thanos used the Power Stone to beat Hulk. He didn't use his Power Stone at all. I mean, if he used the Power Stone, it would start glowing. I mean, he's just ridiculously strong. And not only that, because even when Thanos had all, Thor still was able to stab him. He wasn't strong enough to stop Thor from stabbing him. So, I mean, I don't think like the gauntlets themselves make Thanos physically strong. I mean, the gems in the gauntlet themselves make him physically strong. It's just when he uses them, he can use their abilities. And he wasn't using it. I don't think he was using it when he beat the hell out of Hulk in the beginning. Basically, here's the reason you can tell that the gems don't add physical strength to Thanos, because he had the gauntlet on. Yeah, he did have the gauntlet on. And he was not able to overpower Captain Marvel at all. Captain Marvel just overpowered him, okay? She was stronger than him. If she's like slightly stronger than Thanos, right? Which basically in the movie she was. His base strength level. If he had all 6 gems, Infinity Stones, in the gauntlet, he should be stronger than that. If they add physical strength to him, right? He should be able to freaking, what's the name? He should be able to freaking overpower Captain Marvel. He's not. He can't. And with 6 stones, that would definitely up his base power strength level higher than hers. And her base strength level was higher than his, basically. So, basically, when she fought Thor, when Thanos fought Thor, he's just using his basic strength. And not only that, you could tell it was not just because of the Infinity Stone, because Colosseum was going to jump into the fight when Hulk attacked Thanos. And Maul knew that Thanos was stronger than Hulk. He's like, nah, never mind. Let him have his fun. So he knew he's physically stronger. He's like the strongest being in the universe. He's the Eternal. So all his strength come from being the Eternal, and that's why he beat Thor, basically. And plus, I mean, why he beat Hulk? He did beat Thor, but why he beat Hulk is because he's just physically stronger. And he didn't use the Power Stone. If he used the Power Stone, it would start glowing, and he like punch him with a powered up punch. Then you see, yeah, he's using the Infinity Stone. He wasn't using it when he beat Hulk. He's just stronger, and he's smarter. It was dumb Hulk, and Hulk was not smart enough to win that fight, basically. Anyway, yeah, it was a great movie, and this is a cultural touchstone. It'll never happen. Well, it'll happen again, but maybe in 10 years they'll have a movie this big, but not for a while. And you know what it is? It's such a big act, Infinity War and Endgame. It's hard for them to even follow it up. That's why you see how most movies aren't coming out for a year or 2 years later in the Marvel Phase 4 and Phase 5. Because they're never going to be top this. It's hard for them to top this. And they had all the build-up they had to do. And all the movies had to stick the landing to be even good for people still watch the Marvel movies. I was like, I don't know. They had to really run the gauntlet to get this done again. To do this ever again. And the odds against them doing it are, I don't know, 50-50. Doing it again? Anyway, I'm glad I was a part of it. And able to see all these movies and see the end of it. God blessing, survived. Anyway, the Blu-ray itself is great. I got the Steelbook. I made sure I get the good edition. It's high quality. Even the discs are high quality. It has like one of the iconic scenes from the movies as discs. It's 3 discs because it's one's a 4K and one's a regular Blu-ray plus the bonus disc. As the greatest scenes has the interior of it has a picture of Robert Downey Jr. with his signature, and because he died, and also they paid homage to Scarlett Johansson. Because everybody thought that Black Widow got a bad shake because she didn't even get a funeral at the end of the movie. Well, at least they honored her in this, and in an other inside part of the steelbook, Scarlett Johansson's picture of her signature, so a signed copy of the Black Widow. So